if you know your spouse is going to be there with you through thick or thin, you will take more risks and you will believe in yourself and you will accomplish bigger, greater things because you will know that no matter how I fail, I go home, Liz will be there. Welcome back to STR Like the Best. I'm your host, Michael Chang. I have Liz here with me. Hey, Liz.
Hi, everybody.
We're for our second podcast for today. So if you're listening live on LinkedIn or YouTube, you get us twice since we were on vacation last week. So we're going to do 2 episodes today. Now, the topic I want to cover today is believing in yourself, believing in each other, actually. And I wish we had a little more time. I only have 20 minutes today, but believing in each other. In our last episode, we just talked about, buying our 8th property. Our most expensive one is $2.1 million. A humongous investment for us. And I kind of think back to our first property, not even the first one that we bought, the first arbitrage property that we put together is where you rent the apartment for like, $2,000 and then you re-rent it. Hopefully you can make more than the rent plus the expenses. And we did that for a few years before we started buying.
Well, we're still here for each other. I'll say that. Yeah, definitely not a smooth ride all the way. But
It
in the
wasn't,
beginning, it was hard. It was hard, but still, we're here. And I think that goes back to the point you're saying. Believing in each other is actually it's another superpower that no one is talking about.
I think it's the foundational super. I think that's the found because the other stuff is I can teach. We do the SR Best program. We teach students how to analyze markets, buy properties, great design, operationalizing it, tax benefits. We can teach all that. What we can't teach is like husband and wife to believe in each other, support each other. I thought it was a really important topic for us to bring up because like you believed in me and I believed in you, right? I think that was a lot of how we are even here today that like, through all the turbulence, 10 years for sure, like there's a lot of things that went wrong. I remember very clearly, I remember very, very clearly, and I'm like kind of emotional, I'm not emotional, but I'm trying to like, do my best to keep it together. But I remember the one part I remember very, very clearly was when we had remember when we rented that office in Hunters Point, like we had to kind of cross that
Mm.
bridge, right? We're crossing a bridge. I think we brought Athena with us. Actually, we were carrying her stroller, so walking to work. But I remember there was like one part where I was like, man, like I'm not feeling it. I don't feel confident in my decision making right now. And like I was like, that's my superpower. I believe in myself. And I kind of like losing that a little bit. And I was like, man, dude, like this isn't good. And remember you came to me, you were just like, I believe in you, and like I know we'll get there. I remember that. That was like 5 years ago, maybe. That was like 2021, I think.
Right around Athena was only a couple months
A
old,
couple months
probably.
old. Yeah, or
Yeah.
maybe that's early 2022. I don't remember exactly, but I remember that very clearly, and I was like, that really inspired me to like, okay, like despite things not going perfectly, right? Like you after 6 years, right? Like you married an investment banker, and then like now we're doing like this stuff. It's like different, right? And then you were like, yeah, I can still say that, and I was like, and it actually was like a big confidence boost for me because I was like, all right, well, if you believe in me, then I believe, I'm believing myself too, and then we've obviously like that drove a lot of good decisions from there. So
Yeah, and then vice versa. I think it goes really both ways. The first incident and now I'm just like going through memory lane. The first memory came back to me was when we had first or maybe two, three arbitrage units. And we were like, this is actually going quite well. And then we were talking about the idea, maybe I could go full time on this. And we were in the subway, maybe riding to the property or something. You were saying, you should do this full time. You can do this. And I was like, you're joking me? There's no way I can do this. And plus, it sounds ridiculous. I'm renting a property, throwing it on Airbnb. This is not a real job. This is not a real business. I'm just, trying to have a side hustle. And then you are very confident, like I have seen a lot of numbers and I know you and you can do this. And then I thought about it for a couple days probably before we made that decision. That was like the first taste of, oh, actually somebody believe in me. I can do this.
I don't think you ever told me that actually.
You remember that conversation though,
I
right?
remember that conversation, but I don't remember like you told me in that way. I very much remember that conversation because I was like, well, I remember how stressful you were at the job at Kate Spade, fashion, but like candidly, you weren't supply chain management.
Yeah, definitely was stressful. And I think I was just thinking, how do I actually build wealth and actually month in, month out? If
Yeah,
I stay at that job, there's no way I'm able to grow my wealth. So I thought about it for a long time. But also there was like a mental block for me that I had to combat was it what is rental arbitrage? It sounds unsexy. It sounds weird. No one knows about it. And then versus a job that's like more glamorous. You have a title, you have an office, you have allowance on, pretty clothing, pretty bags, and all that fun stuff. How do I break that mental
that's what they used to trap.
barrier?
That's what they used to trap you, man.
Yeah, and then that I just remember there was a very emotional and a big decision I had to make, and I just didn't believe I can do anything that I don't really know. And I think having that conversation really pushed me over to the other side. Real estate is something I'm interested. This is the next closest thing that we have. And clearly there is a path to replacing my income in a very short time, within a year. So we should take a shot. And you're like, you should take a shot. And then that's when I made a decision. Okay, I am going all in.
I mean, to me, from a numbers perspective, it was like a very. I think I needed to push you because I knew there was that inside. It wasn't like it wasn't that you can do it because you demonstrated that you could do it, and it wasn't that you could make enough money doing it because it's already making money. I know how much you were making, right? I think you were making like 70, 80K. This is back in 2017 at Kate, right? So you're making what, like 6K a month gross, right? Not even pre-tax, so 6K. And then we had, like I said, two or three properties. I don't really remember exactly, but those were already making like over $1,000 a month in profit. And I was like, well, look, if we have three, we're like halfway, more than halfway there. You just quit and do like, instead of doing this like 3 hours a day, like from 9 to midnight, like just like fully dedicate to this 3 months, like you'll cash flow more than what you were making and you'll be
Hmm.
happy. I was like, I think you'll be happier doing that. I don't think you were like the happiest
Yeah,
in that job. I remember you were like had to deal with the overseas supply stuff, and like you were always so frustrated. You would come
very
home like
frustrated.
so frustrated. You were so mad about that.
Yeah. Beyond that, it's more like it was like a really critical mindset shift for me. Just like I actually can do hard things. I really didn't have those confidence before.
Do you think it's like? What do you think that's from? Is it just? Is it a woman? Is this a
Culture.
woman? Like kind of Taiwanese American? Like you grew up
I
in
think
Taiwan.
just
Like,
family culture, how I was brought up, it's running in the family. I think culturally, when I grew up in Taiwan, that part of the how I learned is stay quiet. You don't really want to speak loud. That's just showing respect to other people. Like listen, just like always be humble, which we should be now still, but in the way that don't show that you're too confident. But I do think that growing up, that actually make me not believing in myself in a way. Just say, oh, I just need a regular job and then that pays the bills and then have a family, have kids, have a comfortable life, and that's it. That's kind of like the standard, have a good job that actually I can be proud of to my family, not necessarily me, but I can talk to my family. So, hey, I made it. I had a job that's stable, right? So that was kind of how I was brought up in Asia, I would say, and within my family.
I mean, do you think that's kind of culture? Just not just family, but do you think that's kind of like Taiwanese
I
culture,
think
Asian
now is
Chinese
it's a
culture?
lot better. Right now, I think it's a lot better now. A lot more empowerment, like building the kids' confidence. I think the narrative has shifted a little bit. I think a lot of self-development for myself too. That's something I really want to give to our kids is the confidence in themselves and believing in themselves. Some of the key memory that allow me to have those mindset shifts. And I remember after I quit, I had to go out cold calling, like cold meetings with all this like real estate broker, real estate firm, agents, all these people, and basically pitching our business. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I had never done this in my whole life. I was like 27, 26. I had like a normal office job that's back office. I've never really done that like pitching our company. What does that even mean? Like all of those, I really was a huge mindset shift for
So how'd you
me.
do it? So, I mean, you were successful in doing it. We scaled up to
Yeah.
X number of units. Like, before we
Uh,
bought? How do you
at
like?
that time is you just keep pushing me. It was like, you can do it. That's one part. Second part is, well, I already quit. There's no going back. It looks terrible if I go back. So I was like, you better just suck it up and try. I think a combo of those at that time you kind of just push forward.
Look, I think what gave us confidence too was, I was still in banking. I was making good money. We had health insurance. We didn't have kids.
Yeah.
Um, we didn't have a lot of liability, and I think that was where I was like, if there's a time, and like I wasn't like I was. I mean, you were 29, I think, right? I was after we got married. 2027. I was in my mid 30s. So my mid 30s. It was a time where we could take the risks, right? And it was like, not now then when, right? And
Yeah.
I saw how you worked, and I just knew that all you needed was. I don't even remember this. We bought our first property. It wasn't a short-term rental. It was a long-term rental. It was in Philly. Remember that Philly property that we bought? It was a $50,000 row house. We put in 50K in there. I remember being on the phone with you, and I think you were really nervous about it too. And I was like, "Look, it's $100,000. Like, yeah, it would really suck if we lost it, but like, we're not going to lose 100. Like, there's still property there. Yeah, we'll maybe lose a little bit here and there, like 10, 20K. Like, it would suck, but we got to try, right? Like, this is as bite sized as we can, and like, you've done all this work. Like, let's just do it. And if it fails, it fails. So like, we got to take a swing here. Like, we got to try. Like, we've done all the work. And, I think people are always like, oh, well, I put $100,000 in the property. I'm going to lose it all. Like, no, it's actually a house. Like, it's not going to go to zero unless you like did
Yeah.
something really, really wrong. And, if you're listening here, you're probably like fairly smart. At least you're doing the research, right? You're listening to podcasts and doing the research. It's not going to be a zero. And I think that was also a mindset shift too. A big part, and I think we'll have time today about me. So like, well, let's focus on you today. I think someone believing in you, like really believing, not just like a fake believe in you, like, oh, like truly believing your spouse, like really supporting them when they like mess up. You actually like try to help them figure it out, and not like, hey, look, I told you couldn't do it, or like, yeah, it's hard because you don't have the training, or like you need me here, just like that kind of, those like things I think are like super poisonous in a relationship, where you just try to like cut the other person down, whether because like you're insecure, or like you're trying to keep them close to you so they don't have, you try to hurt someone's confidence so they like stay close to you because they like don't feel like they can go outside. I feel like there's a lot of that actually. The real empowerment is you build each other up because they can build you up, and you're just like better. Like, people are gonna stay if you like empowered someone, they're gonna always stay with you because like, yeah, like, hey man, thank you for believing me. You always been the person that believed in you actually. Like, that's the whole thing, right? Actually, versus like the person that tried to cut you down so that like you won't leave. Like, that's not really, I don't know. I don't think that's healthy.
It's not. And I think that's one part not that many people talk about, but I really think it's one of the most important thing when it comes to spouse. It's like, can you support each other during the really downtime and then really lift each other up through the thick and thin, really?
It's really easy to be with each other when times are good, when
Yeah.
you're making really good money, when you're young, and or like everything's like great and perfect. You go on the vacations together, eat at great restaurants, make good money, all that stuff, right? It's those times when like things go wrong, someone gets fired, someone gets sick, one of their family members gets sick, they get in an accident, they lose confidence in themselves. Are you going to really be there? Is your spouse going to really be there? Right? Your relationship is going to be there. And that's really when, and they can and are, and that relationship is just different. Because you just like, if you know your spouse is going to be there with you through thick or thin, you will take more risks, and you will believe in yourself, and you will accomplish bigger, greater things, because you will know that no matter how I fail, I go home, Liz will be there.
Hmm.
And not everyone can say that.
It is true. It is true.
Not everyone can say that. So if you have that, if you're listening, if you have that, like, great. Like, that is more valuable than anything. Like, I really believe the most important relationship really is like your spouse, actually. Like, that's the person that's going to make you or break you. And you have a relationship with your spouse that makes you, it's something that is
Special.
special. I think kind of going back to how we've been able to build this. Definitely there were times in the beginning where it didn't work out, like COVID, for example. Which I don't want to kind of go into that. We found an old spreadsheet yesterday. We were looking through a file together, and it was our COVID battle plan V2.
Yeah. The name of the file is COVID Battle Plan
It's actually
V2.
Corona battle plan V2. I was like,
I
but
was
it was
like, wow.
yeah.
I blocked that out of my memory. I don't
Remember
remember that.
all the tabs, like that was how we
Yeah.
like worked past each other during COVID. Like was like because obviously the business was like we were like really really scared that like 4 years of work all was going down a toilet, and then we just like we had a plan. I actually hadn't seen that file. I was like, oh shoot. But also just like having to work together. We had to go and drive down to Tennessee 12 hours, work from 6 to 2 a.m. Like when we first got started, we didn't want to spend it, or we didn't have that money to go and do all that. I don't even remember that. That was a
Yeah.
lot of that was a lot of work.
Oh, because there was no flights or there's Corona time. There's very limited, and we didn't really want to take a flight at that
And then
time.
we took a flight, and we tried to save money. We'd also try to
Yeah.
bring stuff down there. And I think that was where it was a different level of the relationship. We had built the arbitrage portfolio here in the New York area, but it really allowed us to not only like walk the walk, right? And like, hey, I believe in you, but also I can work with you.
Early day, there were a lot of friction, I would say. You kind of need to work out those kinks in the beginning. Who who's in charge of what, whose department's this, so we kind of respect each other's opinion, and then ultimately this is the decision you should be making. I think that has helped a lot throughout this 10-year journey.
Very much so. Like we were talking in the last episode, right? Like,
Yeah.
you have your focus on the acquisition side, the market side, like how it looks. We run the numbers together. Once that's done, then like I have my job, you have your job, and like we both kind of know exactly, and we both like believe, we both have confidence in each other's abilities. Like I'm not really looking at what you're doing, like what I'm doing, and we update each other, and it's been a good process. So this is good. I mean, like neither one of us broke down, so that was good. But no, it's kind of cool. I just kind of thinking about those memories that I haven't had in a while. I think speaking as your husband, right? Like, your development or last professional development, over the last personal too. Like I think you're kind of different person now too, going through hard things, right? Like believing in yourself, having success, having failure, right? We had successes in the beginning, we had failures, right? And being able to fight through it, it's hard, like fight through those failures together and then back into success, right? Because we will have failures in the future. You and I, we will. Like there's gonna be properties that don't work out. There'll be things that don't work out. Something will happen. But like we've gone through that first time. The second time will be easier, and then it will just set us up for success on the future, and for the future. We'll talk more about. I'll speak from my side about how Liz kind of believed in me, my personal journey, and how that's really helped me, develop the real estate business, and now our consulting business, STR like the best, and on social media. That's a lot of learning there, but I think we're going to be out of time on this episode. So if you enjoyed this episode, with your spouse, or if you're listening to this with your spouse, please leave a comment. I'd love to know, and send it to your spouse if any of this resonates with you. If you're interested in short-term rentals, short-term rental investing, we have a consulting program called STR like the best. So please take a look and see if that would be a fit for you, and subscribe. And thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode.
I know.